Good morning, everyone. On today's show, we've got many updates, including one of the best performances I've ever had in my over 2 months playing Street Fighter 6. Big updates regarding the mini PC that I unboxed yesterday. A little bit more talk about the joystick and future of fighting games here on DSPGaming. Plus, today is the conclusion of Final Fantasy 16, which I know we're all excited for. All this and more on today's show. Alrighty, everyone. So good morning. It is Saturday, the 5th of August, 2023. I'm DSP. Welcome to the podcast. Time for a break for Street Fighter after having played it a ton back on Wednesday and then all day yesterday. We have the entire weekend away from it. So for those of you who are like, oh, I'm so Street Fightered out, well, you're in luck. There will be no Street Fighter today, nor will there be any Street Fighter 6 tomorrow, okay? We've got an eventful show today. Why? Because I have updates on pretty much everything that we talked about yesterday. To the point where I want to have further discussion with everyone about the future. We'll do that. We're going to talk about everything. First of all, Street Fighter, big update because I did so well yesterday. I actually have the stats. I think your jaw might drop when you hear these statistics. Like, what? But in addition to that, in regards to this mini PC that I got yesterday, man, I have gotten a bunch of information regarding this style of device. Some good and some bad, I suppose. So I want to give you an update on there and some things that I'm doing in preparation to get that thing up and running tomorrow, to see how it works. I'm going to talk more about our discussion about possibly getting a new joystick for my PlayStation 5, because I am leaning more one way than the other, and I want to, obviously have that discussion with all of you. I will need some help with that because these joysticks are very expensive and to drop all of that is going to be a big investment. But we'll talk a little bit more about that. And of course, today is the end of Final Fantasy 16. After a month and a half playing this darned game, today we see how it all ends. And I think we're all excited for various different reasons. People who like the game want to see how I'm going to, commentate on the ending. For those who don't like the game, they just want it done. And the fact that it's finishing today, they're excited. So I will be giving my full opinion on the game today once I finish it on this first stream, okay? And then we'll move on to bigger and better stuff and or more interesting stuff for this month. This is my anniversary celebration month. And so I have a great idea, of course, of what I want to play next. So we'll talk about that on the show. But how's everyone doing? I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you're enjoying the weekend. Many people this weekend who are into fighting games are watching EVO, or the Evolution Fighting Game Championship Series, which is the giant national tournament held in Las Vegas this weekend. I have not seen a single second of footage of it. I'm doing my usual work here, and doesn't really afford me the time to go watch the live streams of it when they're coinciding with my own streams. Some people have asked me, will I watch any EVO? I might, once it's over. Then maybe I'll go back and I'll watch, the top 8 gameplay and see how people are playing this game at top levels and see if any of the characters they're using are the ones that I'm using and that we can implement in gameplay. Although I'd be surprised because, as you know, the top tiers in this game are not who I'm using, right? Honda's not top tier. Blanca's not considered top tier. Maybe Luke, but I really have stayed away from most of the characters that are considered top tier in Street Fighter 6. Guile, Chun-Li, Juri, Ken, to name a few. Cammy. I haven't even touched them. So, I don't know if I'll necessarily learn anything by watching the EVO finals, but maybe it depends on who's in them, because right now they're still in the qualifying round, so we have no idea yet. Anyway, For those of you who are watching, enjoy, obviously. I'm sure you guys will tell me if anything crazy is going on. I really haven't, like I said, followed it at all. Because, I was too busy with all my own stuff. But, after the dust settles and people get back to normal, I'm sure a lot of people will want to be talking fighting games. And that's why one of the discussions we're having here is about the future of fighting games on DSPGaming and how seriously I take them and, equipment upgrades and all of that. And this is funny because I totally wouldn't have even had that discussion if it weren't for Street Fighter 6 not only being such a good game, but me actually getting good at it and people enjoying that and supporting that. Because I had no clue. 2.5 months ago, we had no idea that, I was going to like Street Fighter 6 and end up playing it enough that I get good at it. And now it's a part of my rotation everyone's enjoying. Right? It could have been hit or miss. Like a lot of these fighting games, they come out, I play them for a week. Okay. I play through the story. I jump online for a little bit. And after a couple weeks, I'm bored with it. In this case, I'm the opposite. Like, I want to play more Street Fighter 6. I want to learn new characters. Look at what happened yesterday with Honda, which we're going to talk about in a second. So, yeah, good stuff. And I hope that you guys, again, will continue to give me your feedback and continue to let me know what you think of my fighting game coverage. Let's start talking about yesterday's Street Fighter 6. All right, let's do that. And then let's talk about the whole joystick situation and see what you guys think again. I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't get much feedback. And that's a little disheartening because the fact that there is a group of people who are watching me play all the fighting games, and they're looking forward to MK1 and Tekken when it comes out, and I didn't get feedback in the last 24 hours on what I talked about yesterday, and it's a little, I don't know. It makes me wonder if I should really be caring as much as I'm caring. So let's talk about it, okay? So, yesterday, Street Fighter 6, Street Fighter Friday, okay? And I said, you know what? I want to go back to a character that I only played at the launch of Street Fighter 6 over 2 months ago, E-Honda. This is a character that, from all reports, is about mid-tier. All right, he's not top tier, he's not bottom tier, he's kind of mid-tier. And when I played him, when the game first came out, months ago, I did really well with him on launch day. I actually played him on launch day. I was beating so many people on launch day who, of course, no one knew how to play. I got to diamond rank after my qualifying matches. All right, and then I proceeded to play some matches, and I was kind of like win-loss, win-lose, win-lose. I was just teetering on the edge of being demoted to like 5-star platinum, and I never used Honda again. I literally never touched the character except for when we had our community nights, once a week where I play with viewers in a lobby. Then I would actually play a little bit of Honda, but outside of that, I stayed away from the character. I mean, I fought against Hondas as I endeavored to learn other characters in the game, but never used them myself. So I decided that I was going to go ahead and, by the way, I'm just going to ban this idiot right now. Goodbye. I decided I was going to go ahead and try him yesterday. All right? For the first time since, again, the launch of the game. And the thing is, I studied up. I studied up on videos online to learn basic combos, basic strategies. And the funny part about it was, so I see the combos, and I'm like, okay, now I know the combo. The thing is, I don't know the inputs of the moves. So I had to go online. If you go to StreetFighter.com, you can actually go to the Street Fighter 6 part of the site, and you can look at the moves list and learn the moves there, because I didn't have the game in front of me. I'm watching these videos in bed before I go to sleep. So, okay, so here's the combo. So let me think in my head, muscle memory, how I'm going to do this combo tomorrow and stuff like that. And, on basic strategies and things with the character. So yesterday I start playing with Honda, and on the fly as I'm playing, not only am I implementing some of the strategies I saw from videos, but I'm learning matchups. I'm getting matchup knowledge and the like. And I'm also learning some other mix-up strategies. Like, for example, drive rushing with Honda is interesting because he kind of slides across the screen in a way that other characters don't. He actually, his drive rush is one of the best in the game, in my opinion. It almost feels like he's ice skating with the way that he moves. And his moves all uniquely have these forward-moving properties. His medium punch has a stretch. His fierce kick has a stretch. And after them, because you're drive rushing, he recovers and he has frame advantage. So now you have all these options. So I'm doing punch into combo. I'm doing kick into mix-up, into a combo, or into a throw. Sometimes just wait and then do a command throw, which does big damage. So I'm doing all this stuff. Wow, this is actually quite effective. And, anti-airs, I'm learning. Standing fierce is anti-air and everything. So I'm basically learning all these basics by playing. All right? So I went to training mode, practiced a little bit, practiced his combos, and then I went to casual play, played for about 45 minutes. I said, all right, we're ready for ranked. So I played 2 hours of ranked on yesterday's first stream, okay? And keep in mind, I started in Diamond 1 star, because that's where I was after my initial placings months ago. All right? I got 32 wins and 18 losses for a 64% win-loss ratio. And by the end of those 2 hours of playing, I went from Diamond 1 star to Diamond 2 star. This was the polar opposite of what I was expecting for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, I haven't used Honda in 2 months. I'm learning on the fly. And I'm absorbing so much, I'm actually doing really well. I didn't expect that. I thought for sure I was going to get bodied, demoted down to platinum, slowly climb my way back to diamond and learn how to play the character along the way. Instead, I'm hanging with the diamond rank players. You got to understand that diamond is right before master. This is the only training ground you have to get to the upper echelons of the game. It's not like this is, oh, you're freaking low level stuff. This is higher level gameplay, and I'm actually doing really well. I'm like, whoa, that's interesting. How am I doing so well? The other thing is, if you remember last week, I tried to do something similar with Zangief, and man, Zangief, I couldn't win at all. At the level I'm at, like I was 5-star platinum Zangief. I couldn't even hang at 5-star platinum Zangief. Like even knowing strategies, combos, and everything, Zangief just sucks in this game. I hate to say it, he really does stink. They fucked him up bad. They made him one of his worst iterations I've ever seen in a fighting game for Zangief. He doesn't have the tools needed. Everyone else gets the drop on him. You can barely do his command throws. It's shit. It really is shitty. I don't know what they were thinking. They had no idea what the fuck they were doing when they made him in this one. The thing is, I like Zangief, but man, it's a chore to play with him. It's really not that fun when 90% of the cast mashes buttons and beats everything you do, and then they neutral jump and beat all your other moves. So it's like, wow. With Honda, it was the opposite. Essentially, people did not know how a good Honda could be played. So they were getting caught in these frame traps, and I was, anti-airing constantly. There was people who had no clue you couldn't jump on Honda, and I just get chop, chop, chop. That JP jumped on me like 7 times in a row. So okay, I'll keep chopping, and then I just won. I'm like, wow, what an idiot. I still remember the match. It was so notable. So anyway, I did really well that first session, and I was blown away. I did not expect to do that well. And people who actually weren't even there were like, wow, you did well. We want to see now. So I decided, because I did so well with Honda on the daytime stream, that I would just use him for Friday night fights, the late stream. So I did. So I had started at 2-star diamond. And we just continued right where I left off. And even though the matches were getting more challenging, in fact, I was playing people I had played earlier in the day who beat me, and I was fighting them in the evening and beating them. Outright. Resounding defeat. Okay? I was just getting better and better with Honda over the course of the day. So I kept playing for 2 more hours. By the end of the night, listen to this. Second session, 32 wins, only 16 losses, 67% win-loss ratio. That is outstanding. So I went from Diamond 2-star to Diamond 3-star and even kept winning past that and would have kept winning if I kept playing. So in one day, just think of it this way. In one day, after not having touched a character in 2.5 months, I went from 1-star to 3-star diamond. I had over 60 match wins and only around 30 to 35 losses. So big win-loss ratio. I learned a ton about this character. In one day, in 4 hours of gameplay, I made more progress than LTG has made in Street Fighter 6 since the game came out, stuck at shitty 2-star diamond with his JP. 4 hours. Anyway, yeah, so I was blown away, man. I was like, wow. I would never expected that I was going to do that well with Honda. And it was the complete opposite. It's like Honda's my style in this game. Honda is absolutely my style. Get some frame traps in there, get some mix-ups, high damage potential if you can punish if they make a mistake. But the one downfall of Honda, I will say this, all right? Seriously, the one downfall of Honda is thus. He does have weaknesses. His reversal, which is his overdrive headbutt, can be thrown. That is a huge problem because that means people who are rushing you down, they can mix up their strikes into throw and you have no answer. Like, he really doesn't have answers for people with good throw mix-up at all. So you get in the corner, again, it's another character. You get caught in the corner, and he really has no answer to get out of the corner. Someone could just stand there with strikes and then throw a mix-up, and you really can't get out. His one reversal is OD headbutt and can get thrown. The other one is the OD butt stop. That's only good on jumps. So if they're not jumping, it never hits. So he just gets boned in the corner, like most people. So again, it's a guessing game. And I had a lot of issues against characters like Jury and Cammy, who their strikes are ridiculously good. He just can't really hang at that level. What you have to do is stay out of range where they're not able to get you into their rushdowns and try to zone them out, or try to hit them with your own frame traps and mix-ups so they never get going, and then you can win. But man, that seems to me like it's going to be really, really challenging. All right? So, anyway, I did really good. And I'll be honest with you, I did so good, I'm kind of motivated. I want to play with him even more. Why not? Why stop now? Just keep going, right? I'm on my way to climb up with Honda, and maybe he's the next character to be master rank for me because I'm doing so darn well. And quite frankly, it doesn't seem like the people who are playing online really know how to face Honda that well. You know, Zangief, I think they absolutely know how to face Zangief. Everyone's figured him out. With Honda, 2.5 months in, people are just getting slapped around, right? So that was like night and day difference from what happened with Zangief last time, and I was really motivated. You know, after having hit Master with Blanca the other day, now having an outstanding day playing Honda and racking up so many wins and such a great win-loss ratio, I was stoked. I was really excited. So, overall, I have played 3,176 matches of Street Fighter 6. I have won 1,843 and lost 1,333, a 58% win rate. I've been at 58% for the longest time, because this is what happens. When you play a game so much, you got thousands of matches, you're just stuck at that percent. Even if you go on a crazy tear, you'll still barely move the needle. So, we're kind of there forever. At this point, I would really have to lose so much to even have it get worse. But that's good. I'm glad that I have an overall positive percent in this game. So, good stuff. Really great day yesterday. Now, to tie into this subject, let's do a follow-up on the topic that we talked about yesterday. If you watched yesterday's show, you know what I'm talking about. So, here's the deal, all right? We were talking about Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat 1's beta launches on August 18th, and it's the 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. It's a 4-day beta. Now, I'm not saying I would play it all 4 days, but obviously, I would like to play a couple of those days and make content of the game. The problem with this beta is that it is not cross-platform like the Street Fighter 6 beta was. It's only platform-specific, and it's already been announced, although Mortal Kombat 1 will be cross-platform eventually, that is something that they're going to patch in later. At launch, you will be stuck only playing against the people who are on the platform you bought the game for. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Currently, with the 2 console platforms that are available to play fighting games on, PS5, no exaggeration, is about 80% of the game sales. Xbox is only around 15 to 20%. So fighting games, if you want to get a good player base, you've got to get a game on PS5 right now, unless it's cross-platform. I looked out with Street Fighter 6, it's cross-platform. So it didn't matter that I got it on Xbox. I could play it against everyone, and it didn't matter. You always get matches. But if I get MK1 on Xbox, chances are, for the beta and probably the first couple of months of this game being out, I'm barely going to have anyone to play against. There may be days, let's play it online. There's only the same 3 people over and over because that's the only people playing it on Xbox in my region. That's going to be a giant problem, all right? And so, we discussed this yesterday, and people are like, well, just get it on PlayStation then. I'm like, well, I could, but the problem is, I don't have a good controller for PlayStation. Allow me to show you what I mean, because I didn't show you yesterday, but now I'll show you. So, this is my joystick that I have for PlayStation. It's PS4, PS5, although it was designed for PS4. It's the Hori Real Arcade Pro 4 joystick. Okay? I bought this joystick right before the beta for Street Fighter 5 came out. I bought it at Fry's, which is a game or electronics store that doesn't exist anymore. They went out of business. Okay? So, just to show you, all right? this joystick is worn. You can even see there's corrosion all over the bottom sides of the joystick from me using it over the years. This joystick I used for Street Fighter V. I used it for Mortal Kombat 10 and 11. I used it for Injustice 2. I used it for Tekken 7. I used it for all the retro fighting games that I played, including the Capcom 30th Anniversary Collection and Capcom Fighting Collection. Alright? So it's worn out. It's beat up. The buttons, they're alright, but they're definitely worn. Like, I use this joystick so much that I can tell you right now, those buttons are kind of shot. And the joystick, too, from playing it. Now, is it broken? No. I could use it. Right now, I could play games on it. Alright? But it's really worn out. And, you know, in general, when you're someone who's a competitive fighting game player, joysticks you want to swap out every couple of years, or you want to completely overhaul the joystick. Like, you want to open it up, you want to change all the components out, you know, you want to do all that. And quite honestly, you know, I haven't done that because it's so old, right? And, you know, I haven't played fighting games on oh, by the way, the door, like, this is supposed to have a door here to put you put your wire inside. The door just comes right off. It's supposed to stay on. It pops right off by accident, you know. Like I said, it's worn out. So it's not that the joystick's broken. If I absolutely wanted to play fighting games on PlayStation, I could use this joystick. But it's definitely worn out. And being that now, let's be honest, I am playing games at a higher level. It's not like me casually playing and dicking around. I actually got pretty good at Street Fighter 6, right? Let's be honest. And people are enjoying seeing me play at a higher competitive level. You want to see me do well. You don't want to see me just jobbing out and messing around and quitting the game after a couple of weeks. You like seeing me invest time and learn characters and all of that, right? So, basically, the way I see it is if I'm going to tackle fighting games in the future in a more serious manner, I need to have better equipment, alright? So, if you wonder what I'm doing, I'm just storing the cord inside here. Let me see if I can even get this. No, I think I broke it. Did I break it? I hope not. I hope I didn't just break my joystick door. That would suck. No, there we go. Okay. So there we go. I stored the cord inside of it. Here's the thing. Can this joystick be upgraded? Yes, but it's not meant to be. Meaning, inside there's probably seals and things that make it not as easy to upgrade. It probably has maybe even soldering on the inside of certain components. While this joystick, the current joystick I use for my Xbox, is meant to be a fully moddable joystick. It's meant to be, you open it easily. It's got a button where this thing is on a hinge. And you open the stick, and now you can easily go inside. That's what I did. I just upgraded my buttons to be Sanwa buttons instead of the stock buttons. This one is meant for upgrades. That's designed that way, okay? That joystick is not. That joystick would probably be a chore to open it up, change the components, and do everything. While this one's easy peasy, okay? So, looking at the situation, we've got about 2 weeks until the Mortal Kombat 1 beta, all right? And I got to decide what format to buy the thing on. And, you know, I'm thinking, hey, I could get it on Xbox. Probably there won't be a lot of people to play the beta against, all right? Because it's going to be such a smaller player base. When the game comes out, yeah, I'm going to be severely limiting who I'm playing for weeks and weeks, if not months. And here's the thing, too. I'll be honest. I don't know if I'm going to like Mortal Kombat 1 as much as, say, Street Fighter 6. You know, Mortal Kombat is not my forte. Mortal Kombat is not a game that I've played insane amounts over the years. I've played it in arcades. I played the, you know, Mortal Kombat 9, 10, and 11. I liked them all. But these are not games that I grew up playing as much as Street Fighter or loved as much or ever really entered tournaments for. I'm not saying I'm going to do that either, because I'm not even doing that with Street Fighter 6. But, you know, if I'm going to take it seriously and try to at least give it a shot competitively, then I should be playing it on PlayStation. It's just a no-brainer. There's no one who's going to be playing this on Xbox who's serious about the game. Xbox players will be fuck-around players. We're just here to mess around with the game. We don't really care about competition, because if we did, we would get it on PlayStation. You understand? So, if I'm going to get it on PlayStation, I hate to say it, this joystick, nearly a decade old, is beat up, busted up, and probably needs to be retired. Alright? probably not going to be making sense to try to play it on this stick. And so there's two options for new sticks on PS5. And I talked about them yesterday. Okay, let me go put this back. So, one option, all right, one option is this joystick, this exact joystick, but for PlayStation. It's the same exact one, the Fighting Stick Alpha. It's $200, but I would have to upgrade the buttons. Like I said, the stock buttons, I didn't really like as much. I used them for 2 months here for Street Fighter 6. I want Sanwa buttons. So I went on Amazon and I bought the Sanwa buttons, and these are really good. So I would definitely want to do that again with that stick. And it was about $20 to buy the set of buttons. So that joystick is $200, and then I want to buy Sanwa buttons. The bummer is that the joystick, I would probably want to get a Sanwa stick as well. Now, someone contacted me and said, beware. Listen to this. A lot of the sellers on Amazon selling Sanwa joysticks are selling knockoffs. That they have a friend who did buy components off of Amazon, and a lot of the joysticks on there are baloney joysticks. They're junk. And it sucks because Amazon doesn't know the difference. So they sell it through official channels, and they have no idea that they're selling junk components. They're not really good. That if I wanted to get a Sanwa joystick, I probably should not buy it off of Amazon, but instead I should try to find it from a reseller. That means it's going to be more expensive. There's going to be shipping costs. You see? So, it's not that I couldn't get that joystick and upgrade it, but it would be a little more expensive. You're talking $200 plus $20 for the buttons, plus having to go to a third-party site to buy the Sanwa joystick, which is probably going to be around $30 plus shipping. So you're talking probably all when all ends, it's probably between $250 to $300. All right? The other option is not a Hori joystick at all, but a Kombat joystick. All right? And this joystick is called, hold on, the Kombat Q7 Obsidian 2. All right? That joystick is big. So this one is that joystick is like even longer, and it weighs 7 pounds. I would say this joystick weighs about 3 pounds. Okay, it's very lightweight. That one is a 7-pound joystick. It's meant to be a giant, sturdy ass joystick. Okay, it's got all Sanwa parts on by default, and it's the highest tournament grade to parts. The ones that all the pro players are saying are the absolute best. Those are the ones you want in your stick. That's what's in that joystick. Okay. So that's pretty cool. Of course, what's the catch? The catch is the cost. It costs $320 on Amazon. It's a big investment. It's a big investment. $320, right? So that's why I'm a little skeptical. That's a big investment. $320 for a joystick. I mean, the good news is, from now on, moving forward, I would play fighting games on PS5. And in fact, I'm considering rebuying Street Fighter 6 on PS5 and kind of starting over. And I know that would suck because I just hit Master with Blanca and I'm climbing the ranks with my Honda. But I'll be honest with you, I do feel like if I started over in Street Fighter 6, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Because here's why. You saw how quickly I'm raising in ranks now with new characters. Probably just doing placement matches, I'll end up in higher Platinum or Diamond. And then after playing a little more, a couple sessions, I'm probably going to be near Master anyway. Like, look at Honda, right? So I'm really not too worried about it. I mean, yes, two months of time, but it's not like that experience is lost. It's not lost at all, right? So I'm thinking having the ideal state, best controls, having the console where I'm going to have the biggest player base for fighting games moving forward, both Mortal Kombat and Tekken and other future fighting games. All of this makes sense. The only thing holding me back is the money investment, because it's $320 for the joystick, and I would now have to get a PlayStation Online membership, which I haven't had in years. I haven't had one in 2 years. I've been doing everything on Xbox because I have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. But now I would basically have to get that as well, which is $20 a month or something like that. So there is cost involved here. All right, it is what it is. But I'm trying to weigh in balance. Is like, if there was no cost involved, this is a no-brainer. I would do it right now. Seriously, if cost was not a factor, of course I want to be playing fighting games on the platform with the most competition and the platform everyone's playing it on. and I could have the ideal state joystick too. Like, that joystick is the one everyone wants. Everyone says, this is the one I want to play games at home. So, you know, but the problem is the investment, the cost investment. You know, it's a lot of money. It's $320, plus I got to play for PS Online, you know, rebuying Street Fighter 6. You know what I mean? Shug says, can you disable spamming of friend requests on Street Fighter 6 PS5? LTG can't. Yes. It's because it's done through Capcom ID. It's not done through Xbox. It's done through Capcom ID. That's how I did it. I went into my Capcom ID account, and there you can disable everything, and then that's it. You don't get spammed requests anymore. I mean, on PlayStation, I never get spam requests regardless. You could turn that off. You could do through game, or you could do it through your PlayStation menus. So I don't get that anyway. But if you're saying that LTG keeps getting spammed messages, that's probably because it's through the Capcom ID. I found that out day one. Remember how bad it was the first day? And then I went to my Capcom ID and I turned it all off, and then it just stopped. I haven't had a problem since. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it would be annoying at first, and we'll figure it out. We figured it out on Xbox. It's going to definitely work on PlayStation too, you know? So, anyway, so, yeah, you know, again, if cost wasn't the factor, I'd do it immediately. It just makes sense to have the best state, especially when you're trying to put out good high-level, you know, competitive content, which wasn't my concern before. Let's be honest. Until Street Fighter 6, putting out high-level competitive fighting game content was not my concern. But now it is, because now I'm doing it. Now I'm actually playing at high levels in Street Fighter 6, so I want to be putting out the best content I can, and I think this is the way to do it. It just costs money, right? So, if any of you are interested, let me know. You know, you want to help out with getting this joystick, or, you know, the cost of rebuying Street Fighter 6, or any of that stuff. I'm all ears. I'd be open to anyone who wants to help out and chip in. You know, I have 2 weeks to decide. Well, a little bit under 2 weeks to decide if I want to do this or not. If I don't do it, then I'm just doing everything on Xbox, which just sadly means I know for a fact we will have way less players on MK1. It's probably going to be a far inferior experience. We're not going to have a variety of players. It's going to be the same people over and over. You know, it's not going to be as good of a situation until they do the crossplay, which they are not even promising when they're going to do it, you know? So, and here's the thing. So everyone throwing questions at me, can you get an adapter for your joystick? Yes, and it will just make things worse. Adapters for joysticks, to have them go cross-platform, all add input lag. So, my joystick now works on PlayStation, but now everything I do is even more delayed. So what was the point? Right? You just hindered yourself even further by doing that. So you don't ever want to do that. That's the worst thing. That's only for casual. Only for casual. That's not if you're trying to play seriously. You would never want to use an adapter like that. There's only one adapter they're even allowing at Evo, and even that one adds a certain amount of milliseconds, and you're basically hurting yourself using that adapter at Evo, so no one's using it. You see? So that's why. If not, everyone would be using adapters on everything. Everyone would just use their own joystick on whatever console, but it's not common because there's too much added input lag. You understand? So that's why. Okay. So that's the situation. Reach out to me. Let me know what you think. You can email me. You can tweet me. You could tell me in chat. You know, you can do a million things to reach out to me and let me know what the deal is. But if anyone's interested in helping out with this cost, I'd appreciate it. I'll be honest, I want to do it. Right now is the first time in over a decade that I feel motivated to cover fighting games in a good way for you. It's been a long time since I've had this motivation and this feeling of wanting to play fighting games better. All right? It's really, I mean, the fire has been lit under me again for the first time in over 10 years. That's a good thing. At the same time, yeah, it's a big investment to do this, and I want to make sure that, you know, you guys care. It seems like people care. People are coming out and watching the fighting game streams and supporting them. So obviously you guys must care, but I want to be sure. I don't want to say, maybe I'm too much into this. Maybe I'm seeing tunnel vision, and I'm so hyped for fighting games right now that I'm not understanding that people don't really care. I don't know. Let me know. I really want to hear your thoughts on this, all right? Because I do have to decide in the next few days. If this joystick, I looked into it, I could order that joystick. It'll show up within like 4 days. So if I were to order it, you know, at any given day, I could get it by the end of the week, but I need to have it in time for the beta. And then the same thing, I would have to get the PS Plus membership and pre-order the game and all of that, get it installed. You know, what we would do, if we do make this decision, what I'd like to do, hopefully, is do it a little bit earlier, because I would like to get Street Fighter 6 on PlayStation, and maybe do a couple sessions on there to see with the new joystick how it works. Before the MK1 beta's out, play Street Fighter 6 on the PlayStation, right? Do some qualifying sets or whatever. Jump into ranked again with maybe Blanca or Honda, and, you know, try to get them up, you know, on a PlayStation versus Xbox, and get used to the new joystick as well, right? So, there you go. Let me know what you think. That segment's done now. We're done with that segment. We can move on, all right? Now, we got a follow-up to yesterday's discussion about the mini PC that was gifted to me. Let me get it to show you guys again. If you didn't see it, we did a live unboxing yesterday of this little guy, the TriggerKey S5 Speed High Performance S Series Mini PC. So I've learned a lot more about this because several people have written me about it. It's funny because people always like, oh, I want to tell you all about it, or I'm excited, here's what I think. So here's the deal. Here's what this is good for, okay? It's good for emulation. It's good for small projects. It's good for simple games and basic use. That's really what these mini PCs are really good for, all right? This PC is not a replacement PC for a standalone PC. It's not, okay? It's also not meant to be a high-end gaming PC. It never will be. There's many reasons for that, all right? Allow me to explain. Number one, the graphics in this are not great. They're very mid to low level, meaning, can I run a 3D game on it? Yes. Can I run it at high settings? Hell no. Can I run it at mid settings? Questionable. Can I run a game at low settings? Maybe. It depends on the game, all right? So it really is going to be rough trying to get this to run any kind of a 3D game. Honestly, like any kind of new game. Like right now, Baldur's Gate 3 just came out. Good luck getting it to run on this. It would probably be 30 frames or lower, and it would probably chug along and have issues, because this thing is not meant for that, okay? This thing is meant as a kind of hobby box, an emulation box, or for simple games, which really, in reality, is what I wanted something like this for. We've been discussing Steam Deck, correct? The reason I wanted a Steam Deck is because there's games on Steam that I want to play that are basic games. I can't play them on my PC right now while capturing streaming. It takes too much of my resources, and it ruins the quality, and it makes everything crash. To have a standalone device to play the game on while I'm capturing with my current PC would be ideal, and that's actually what this would be good at. Why also is this not a great unit for extended use or gaming? I'll tell you why. Because you saw it, the PC is only half the size of this box. This PC has no ventilation whatsoever. None. Remember how I looked at the sides, I said, oh, it looks like speakers? No, that's the ventilation. There's no fan in that computer. So with no fan, this computer is going to heat up a lot. And I actually heard this is an AMD processor. It's an AMD Ryzen 7 5800. Apparently, AMD processors are infamous for having heating issues. And I have no cooling solution on this PC. So can you imagine, even if you could get it to run a 3D game, this thing is going to heat up like molten lava within an hour of using it. So that's not good, okay? So essentially, yes, this is meant to be something that you use for basic use, not anything crazy, and not for extended periods of time, right? Okay? So it's basic. It really is basic. It's meant to be, hey, it's a little hobby box. You want to play, you know, throwback games on it, emulation on it, basic stuff, you could do that. But you can't go crazy with modern stuff. It's not going to handle it. It's hilarious. I had people writing me saying things like, oh, you should use this now as your capture and streaming PC. What? Are you crazy? You want me to be capturing and streaming all day on this thing with no ventilation whatsoever? You don't think this thing could possibly overheat? Are you nuts? That's literally not what it's made for at all. Like, not even close to why it was designed, you know? I had someone say, oh, so now with that, you can now hook up your Stream Deck that you had for years and years and you couldn't use. I mean, technically, would Stream Deck work with this? Yes, but I'm not using this to capture and stream. So what's the point of having Stream Deck on a PC that I'm not using to do capture and streaming? It wouldn't do anything. I need it on my capture PC stream to play animations, to do things, you see? It doesn't make sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah, people just saying some zany stuff. Like, they think that I'm going to use this tiny PC as a replacement for that PC right there. No, absolutely not. And again, it's not meant to be a high-end gaming PC. It's meant to be a hobby box, okay? So, I am going to be using this tomorrow night, actually. I'm going to hook it up for the first time, test it out, and see how it works. In fact, this morning, for the first time in over 4 years, I logged into my Steam account. Yeah. I was like, wow, I haven't used this in a million years, so I had to change my password around and everything. Yeah, it's been a million years. I'm like, all right. And I logged in. It's funny. My Steam account has the weirdest assortment of games on there. Weird stuff that some things I never even played, right? And then it's funny because, like, you know, you look back at history. Like, you guys remember when I was on Twitch, when Twitch first started with their sponsorship opportunities built into the platform, and I played that indie game LOL, and basically my trolls went and harassed the game devs, so the game devs actually shat on me while I was playing their game. Well, their game's fucking tanked completely, and they never even finished it. So they got what they deserve for acting like assholes to me. It's just funny because I looked at it, I was like, LOL's still in here. Let me click on it. Wow, there's no updates on it whatsoever. Let me click on their social media. And I clicked on it, and there hasn't been a post since 2019. Basically, the game never took off. No one bought it. It flopped. And they basically just retired it. They never even did, like, another episode. There's supposed to be multiple episodes and stuff in the game. They only did one episode, and it flopped, and they never touched it ever again. It's like, well, yeah, when you're a bunch of idiots, and you fucking act like that because trolls come to you, you know, you're acting unprofessional. They actually crapped on me, the streamer, promoting their game. So, what did you think was going to happen? You thought your game was going to be a big fucking hit? Anyway, I digress. So I'm looking at all these different games there. I'm like, wow, I forgot I had most of these games. There's a lot of games on there that I bought right when I just got on this new PC, and I thought I was going to be able to play a lot of games like Rage and Aliens Colonial Marines and stuff like that. And, you know, by the way, back then, I was doing the 720p. Today I do 1080p 60 frames. Back then I was doing 720p 30 frames. So that's why I was able to do the PC stuff back then. But anyway, I'm looking at, wow, some weird games on Steam. So the cool thing is, we can mess around with this box. Like, we could have a night where basically we just mess around, say, what games do you want to test on it, right? The thing is, I got to be careful because this only has a 1 terabyte hard drive. I have to see once I hook it up how much of the hard drive actually has free space to store, because I don't know how much is free and how much isn't. But I might install a couple test games on there just to see how they run as a test thing. But I guarantee you the vast majority of games will run horribly on it. It really is just for basic stuff, right? So, yeah. What am I really excited for with this? Chrono Trigger. Because I looked it up. Chrono Trigger is on Steam. It was released in 2018. It's the Nintendo DS version that has added content and better music. And it's $15. And I'm like, dude, I've wanted to play Chrono Trigger for years. I haven't played it since 2012, all right? And I would absolutely love today to do this as a nice, interactive, chill stream playthrough over the course of August with you, because it's one of my favorite RPGs of all time. It's a game that means a lot to me because I remember growing up, like, the music. I'm serious to this day, the music makes me feel emotion. You know what I mean? Like, a game I remember in the summertime, I rented this game, and I'm playing it, and it takes me back to living in Connecticut with my parents' house and thinking about all the things I used to do back then. It makes me feel so nostalgic and, like, happy and feeling at home when I play that game. So I would love to play that game with you guys again, only this time as a fun, interactive stream, you know, in my current style, which is much better than my old style where I ignored my stream audience. You know, I didn't really pay any attention to anyone. I was just kind of doing things for myself, which was stupid. Now I have an interactive audience. I can talk with you guys. We can chill. It's been 10 years since I played Chrono Trigger, so I'd love to play it again with all of you. So I think that's what we're going to do. I think that would be the first good test for this game. This mini box will be Chrono Trigger. But I'll find out tomorrow night, because tomorrow night is when I'm actually going to test it, and we'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to go through the schedule, all right? So, yeah, after having all this data about this PC, you know, I kind of know what I can do with it. Basic stuff. Again, this will be every once in a while. You want to see me play a retro game, and it's available on Steam or whatever. That's what this is for. All right, or again, one of these memeable games that's you're not horribly taxing on a GPU or whatever, but it's easy to run. That I can do on here. All right, but absolutely, there's no way that this is going to be playing modern PC games or anything like that. That is definitely not what this thing is for. It is incredibly limited in what it can do. And even then, you shouldn't be playing it for extended, like you shouldn't use this all day. This is like you use it for a few hours and then you let it rest, because if you don't, it overheats. It has no ventilation whatsoever. It has no fans. So it's going to overheat, you see. Okay. So, I'll try this tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a sec. All right. So let's talk about the schedule for the week, all right? Today, all right? Today is the conclusion of Final Fantasy 16. Yes, really? Yes, finally. Today we finished the game. We're going to hit the 40-hour mark today and wrap it up. I know most people were actually asking me to quit this game like 3 weeks ago. But I told you guys we're going to tough it out and we're going to beat it because we invested so much time in it, all right? And now here we are. We're at the end. We'll see the finale today, the final fights, the final cutscenes, and we'll see how it all ends. And yes, I am absolutely going to give you my honest opinion / final verdict on this game when I beat it, all right? I'm going to weigh all the factors in, and I'm going to let you know my true thoughts about Final Fantasy 16 when those credits roll, all right? So as of today, we're going to beat it. That's great. We can move on. Tonight on the late stream, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, is the continuation of GTA 5, the anniversary run. I'm excited for that. We've been having a lot of fun with the game. I think at this point we're around 8 hours in, 12 hours in. We are 12 hours in. And it's good now because all three, protagonists are now involved in the game, which is good. And it's fun now because you can switch between them, and they have all these different missions and things you can do. There's more variety to the game now. And I'm really enjoying it, and I know that you guys will enjoy it tonight. You guys have been helping me figure out the side content and everything. So more tonight, all right? That'll be fun. Tomorrow is going to be a weird day, all right? Sunday. First of all, it's DSP versus the Internet, my weekly clips react show. So if you have not yet, nominate your clips for tomorrow's show by the end of today's streams. If you don't, those clips are not going to be watched tomorrow. Basically, what I'm going to do is at the end of tonight's GTA stream, I go over and I make the playlists for tomorrow's show, and anything nominated after that will not make the cut. You've got to nominate your videos today. So how do you do that? If you're a member, you head over to the DSP Reacts channel, which is youtube.com/@DSPReacts. You go to the community tab on the channel page. There's 2 threads. One is for standard members, one's for ultra members. Post up your clip nominations for tomorrow's show and for a chance to be watched, okay? So tomorrow, first stream, it's the clip show on DSP Reacts. Tomorrow night, there is no late stream for 2 reasons. Number 1, I'm doing private React videos for patrons, and so I'm going to record those and get those out of the way. But also, I'm going to be hooking up and testing that mini PC. So I'm going to try to get it going. It's actually going to sit behind my TV over there. I do have a keyboard and mouse over here that I can use with it. I actually bought an extra long USB cable, which is cool because it's so long, I believe I'm going to be able to use that with my Xbox controller, and I might not need the rechargeable batteries anymore because I could just use the wire now, right? So I won't even need these batteries anymore. That's good. That's a cut of cost, right? So, yeah. So anyway, that'll be neat to test it out, and I'm going to probably get Chrono Trigger on it and download it and test it and see if it works. So there you go. That should be exciting, and I'll let you know obviously on Monday morning on the Level 1 podcast how that all went. So on Monday, the daytime stream will be GTA 5 Anniversary Run on the first stream for the first time. So for those of you who've been watching the playthrough and are really enjoying it, but you've been complaining, man, you keep playing it on the late stream and I can't make the late stream. It's too late for me. It's going to now be daytime streams starting this week on Monday. So I hope you'll join me on Monday for that. Monday night is community night in Street Fighter 6, where I open up a community lobby and everyone joins and plays with me. That'll be fun. And then the main stream on Tuesday will be more Street Fighter 6 ranked. Okay? And Tuesday night will be, if all things go according to plan, the premiere of Chrono Trigger. But let's see how this goes. Because what if I hook up this PC and it's a disaster and it sucks, right? I don't know. I guess we'll see. All right, so that's the week. I'm off on Wednesday. Next week will be a balance between GTA and Street Fighter on the daytime streams, and the night streams will likely be a mix between Chrono Trigger, if it works, and some Street Fighter stuff. Maybe the return of World Tour, which would be great if World Tour comes back, because I like that mode, and we haven't played it again in a while. We'll see how it goes. The other thing is that 1 week from today is my first of 2 big anniversary events. Did you know that? So 1 week from today, which will be Saturday the 12th of August, on the day stream, we're going to be doing a full-length react to Project 7 for the first time in like 5 years. We're going to go back and watch Project 7 together. I'm going to commentate over it. I'm going to let you know all about the behind-the-scenes stuff that was going on back when we were making this show, my thought process about developing it, what I was hoping would happen with it, what didn't happen with it. But now that I watched the John and Howard video from last year, and now that I know what their thoughts were during this whole process, I can now add even more much-needed context and things to it. So the Project 7 React event will be on this day next week, daytime stream, and that'll be over on DSP React. Now, on the night stream that day, because it's 2 streams, not a marathon, but on the night stream that day, all right, we're going to be doing a very special React event, a tier maker. And this is going to be a really cool tier maker. I'm going to be counting down all of the games from the last decade that I either ranked number 1 or number 2 for the year in a tier maker countdown, all right? I'm very excited for this because I feel like this is going to be very fun to do, and it's going to have a lot of nostalgia. We're going to look back at all of these games from the past and say, hey, look, this one used to be the best of the year. Did it hold up to the test of time? Or over the years, does this game suck now and people don't even think about it anymore? I guarantee you're going to have some games in there where we're going to be like, oh my God, those games are absolutely outstanding. I would play it today and love it. And other games are like, wow, what is this game? I don't remember this at all, right? That's how these games, some of these games age well, some don't, right? So ranking all my game of the year or runner-up picks in a tier maker should be really fun. Like, what is the ultimate game that I have played over the last decade or so as a content creator? It was a pretty fun event, I think. I think we're going to have a great time with that. So, that is coming up. 1 week from today is that special event all day long. Now, here's the thing. Next week, not this week. This week is only a 5-day streaming week. Next week is an 8-day streaming week. 8 straight freaking days. Yes. I know that sounds crazy because it is, right? How often would I be streaming? For that, you know what I mean? Crazy. So, yeah, I'm excited to stream 8 days in a row, and there's going to be good variety. I mean, having that day to break it up for the anniversary stuff is fine because there's another 7 days of streaming that week. It's not like, oh, the whole week's screwed up now because of that. So, it's excellent, right? Anyway, good stuff. So, excellent. Thank you guys for chilling with me this month so far. Remember, there's a big anniversary event that's coming up at the end of the month. That's going to be the big retrospective event where for a marathon, we're going to be watching back all your favorite moments of my 15 years as a content creator. That's coming up on Saturday the 26th. That's a fun marathon. That's the 15 years of Dark Side Film Marathon. Did I update? Hold on. Did I put that in here? Hold on a second here. That's Street Fighter. What's this? There it is. The 15 years of DSP Marathon is coming up on the 26th of August, where we're going to go down memory lane and react to your favorite moments of me being a content creator over the years. So how do you nominate? Well, there's already threads available. They're posted here on the community tab of the channel, and there's one for open nominations, and there's one for members exclusively. All right? What I will likely do, I'm thinking, because I didn't do this, and I totally should have done this. I should have done chat commands for it. So that way, you could actually just have it pop up and click on there and nominate openly. Because I didn't do that, and I totally should have done that. So maybe later today, I will do some chat commands for that. So that way, in the chat, it'll pop up and say, hey, click here to nominate. Because we did get a good amount of initial nominations, but now it's been about a week, and I think that they've completely slowed down, and we're not getting any more. So I need more nominations for the show. The more, the better. What I'll probably do is, like, the week before that marathon, we'll make a big push for people to nominate more, and probably we'll get a bunch more at that point, okay? Anyway, this is coming up on the 26th. All right? So there's a lot of fun stuff coming up this month. More Street Fighter 6 coverage. The Mortal Kombat 1 beta, the weekend of the 18th through the 21st, that's coming up. Okay? We've got my special event next week, Project 7. We've got the Cheermaker coming up next week. We've got GTA 5 now becoming a daytime stream, right? And then we've got chill night streams of Chrono Trigger and some community night and maybe some World Tour and Street Fighter. Good variety of stuff this month coming up. Good balance. Good anniversary stuff along with Street Fighter 6. It's a great month. I'm happy because usually the summer months are kind of dead. This year we have a lot going on, which is great to keep things, get everyone excited. That's really all I've got, guys. So I hope that sounds good. I hope that sounds good. Let's do shout-outs, shall we? All right. So, here we go. We start off with Broseph, who re-upped his membership for 20 months. His happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Keep it up. Thank you to Broseph for that. Nice message. Broseph also did a super chat. He said, your best buys are always at Fry's. Yeah, Fry's, I liked Fry's. The thing is with Fry's, if you've never been to a Fry's store, they don't exist anymore. But the thing I liked about Fry's stores was they had a lot of open, big product selection. Like, you would go in there, and they'd have, 10 different brands competing for the same style of product. Like, I want a toaster. Well, they have, 10 toasters. Most places you go in, they have, 2. They have, 10. So you could choose the wide slot, the multi-slot, the quick toast. That was good about Fry's. They always had a big product selection. When I went in there, the summer before the beta had come out for Street Fighter 5, I had no intention of buying a joystick. I walked in, they had a ton of joysticks for consoles. I was like, whoa, they have a bunch of stuff. And I was like, wow, this could be useful. And that's when I bought that joystick over there for the PS4, just because they had a wide selection. I got the Hori. The Hori is a great brand. I was like, wow, I'm so impressed they had this in person. Most places don't carry that kind of stuff. The problem with Fry's was they didn't really advertise, and the staff wasn't very well trained. They didn't know much about anything. And it was almost like a warehouse style. Like, what I mean by that is you would go in there, and the aisles were large and had product, but sometimes half the aisles would be empty. Or if they were a time of year when there's not a lot going on, so the store would be half empty, and it kind of looked weird. It's like, is this an active store or not? It was a really weird way that they maintained their stores. I liked it, though. I liked Fry's, and I bought many things there over the years. Computer components, wires and things, HDMI cables, USB cables. It was always a useful place to go in as kind of a one-stop shop for electronics, and now they went out of business. The COVID killed them. COVID destroyed their business model, and basically people stopped shopping there. Then that was it. That really sucked, because I really liked that place. Anyway, thank you, Brosa, for the super chat and a little trip down memory lane. Broly did a super chat. Says, why not do a marathon fundraiser for the stick? Well, there's 2 reasons for that. Reason number 1 is because I need this joystick right away. This is something I have to order within the next week or so if I'm going to get it in time for the Mortal Kombat 1 beta. That's not enough time to just organize a fundraising marathon, all right, and get people to know about it or whatever and be effective. Number 2, I don't really like doing fundraising marathons. If you haven't noticed, I haven't done one in a million years. I mean, yes, years ago I used to do them, but the thing is, people are dumb, and they think that something that happened 3-4 years ago applies to today. It doesn't. Back then, I was financially very strapped. I was at my wit's end. I was in the middle of a bankruptcy. I had nowhere to go, and just to sometimes pay basic bills, I had to do a marathon. That sucks. That's not good. All right, and I know that, that was asking too much. It was very annoying to most of my viewer base. They absolutely did not like that at all, and I hear you. I didn't like doing them either. All right, I've already said to you guys, those were rough times. I don't want to go back to that. The only reason I would ever go back and do a fundraising marathon is for an emergency. What if a medical emergency comes up and I need money to pay for fucking treatment or something, or then maybe that's the only option I have. Then maybe I would consider doing something like that. Outside of that, I don't really want to do stuff like that. I don't. You guys already are supportive enough. You understand? You guys are crazy supportive of me. You allow me to do what I love for a living. You allow me to make a good amount of money doing independent style content. I don't sell out. I don't have partnerships, sponsorships. There's no paid advertisements on my streams, no product placements. I'm not in cahoots with anyone. No one's promoting me. I'm a small time guy, and I make a good living because of you. I don't want to be, milking you constantly and making you feel like I'm abusing you, doing a fucking marathon to buy a joystick. You know what I mean? It's stupid. You know, if someone says, hey, I want to help out, then so be it. Thank you. I'm not going to look the gift horse in the mouth, but I'm not going to sit here and say we're dropping everything of normal business in order for us to do a special fundraiser marathon. I don't want to do that. Okay? Okay. SF6 Blanca re-upped their membership and says, do you plan on doing 100% running Chrono Trigger? Well, here's the thing. Chrono Trigger has many different endings. However, the one standard ending is the one that most people get. And then the way you get the other endings is New Game Plus, where you kind of turbo through the game at a high level. Because here's the way Chrono Trigger works. It's a game about time travel. At any time, if you know how, you can fight the final boss. There's actually a way where you can just access the final boss whenever you want, once you get to a certain point in the game. And when you beat the final boss at certain points in the game, you get a different ending. But the thing is, you can't beat the final boss until you've basically beaten the game and you're high enough level to beat him. So you need to do New Game Plus. And when you do New Game Plus, then you choose the points in the game you want to kill that final boss to get the other endings. So, number one, I'm definitely going to be doing a standard playthrough, okay? If you guys like the playthrough so much and you want to see me turbo through it, New Game Plus, to see the alternate endings, I'd also be okay with that. By the way, because this is an interactive playthrough this time, I'm absolutely sure you guys are going to be helping me along the way. You guys are going to be like, oh, this is what you do to get this ending. Here's a secret here you want to get. So we'll do that interactivity during the playthrough to make it a better one. The first one, it was just me playing for myself. This time, 10 years later, it's us playing together. That's the difference. The feeling of community, the feeling of interaction and camaraderie and helping each other out to have the optimal playthrough. That's what I want this time around, okay? Excuse me. Okay. Adam did a super chat. He says, 8 days in a row. That's a lot of Phil laughing out loud. Yeah, 8 streaming days in a row without a break. But see, it's because this week's only 5 days. Next week's 8 days. The next week, I don't know what it's going to be. Maybe 5 days again. I got to figure it out. It's really messed up scheduling. Let's put it that way. Like this week, I have an appointment on Wednesday, so I have to have Wednesday off. The week after, there's things that are really stretched out, so I need to have a different day off. It's really odd, and I know it's throwing things for a loop, but I promise you it'll get back to normal at some point. Okay. Continuing on. Spawn Killer did a super chat. It is sad to see Best Buy's going out of closing. And then he did another super chat. He says, I meant out of business. They're not going out of business. Best Buy's not going out of business. Best Buy's not doing great, from what I'm to understand. But they're not going out of business. They haven't declared bankruptcy or anything. Where did you get that notion? Unless they just announced it this morning. This is news to me. I have not heard anything about Best Buy having problems. Does anyone know if this is true or not, or if this is baloney and Spawn Killer is misinformed? Because I didn't hear anything about Best Buy going out of business. I don't know. Maybe his local Best Buy is closing? Maybe. Are they closing store? Are they downscaling? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're downscaling and his local store is closing. X-Shooter did a super chat. He says, I never heard of Chrono Trigger. What is it about? Man, it's an interesting plot. So, some kids, teenagers essentially, get trapped in a time warp and get sent back in time, and they actually meet like their predecessors, and they get interested in like these. It's a fantasy game. It's based on the artwork of Akira Toriyama, the person who drew Dragon Ball, okay, and Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior, however you call it. I call it Dragon Quest. And it has the Nobuo Uematsu, the composer of. Was it him? Actually, I don't know if he composed the music for it. No, I don't think he did. But the music is outstanding. Basically, it's the combination of people who worked on Final Fantasy as well as other elements to make a unique RPG. And it's time travel elements in it. And essentially, there's like all these things in time that affect other things in time. But really what it is there's a doomsday coming up. At one point, the world's going to end. A big entity, and you don't know what it is going to end the world. And now you're traveling through time trying to figure out the origins of this entity and how to stop it, because you don't want the world to be destroyed. It's pretty good. And there's magic involved. There's different, like a floating society that lives in the sky with magical powers that no one knew existed, and you run into them. And then you go to the future, and you see what happened after the apocalypse and how everything's destroyed, and there's robots and stuff. It's pretty cool. It's one of the best plots of any RPG I've ever played. To this day, I don't think there's been an RPG that's maybe topped the plot of it. It's so good. You even go to prehistoric times, which is really cool. So anyway, It's an outstanding game. If you've never played it, I think you're going to really enjoy the playthrough. It's super good. Now that I know that some people haven't played it before and they're going to be watching my playthrough, I got to be careful about spoilers. Yeah, it's really good. Like, and you wait till you hear the music, dude. It's SNES music, and the fucking music, I swear to God, when I hear this music, it makes me tear up. It's like the best soundtrack, and it has a nostalgia factor out the ass. It's so good. I seriously can't wait to play. Can you tell? Can you tell when I'm truly excited about a game? I'm like really excited to play Chrono Trigger with you guys. I really am. I feel like that first playthrough I did a decade ago was fine, but without having that interactive aspect, I missed out on a lot of the opportunity to have a great time. Now having these interactive streams with you guys with that game, like, I cannot wait to play this game. He did? Nobuo Uematsu did do most of the music for it. Okay. I thought he did, but I knew he didn't do all of it, so I didn't want to say that and then be, like, mistaken and have it. Nah, you see, you were wrong, Phil. Okay. So thank you, X Shooter, for the super chat. Let's get the tips here. So, first tip of the day. Hold on. Literally, I'm not even kidding you. Literally, someone just tipped $1 and said, you were just gifted a brand new gaming PC and you're open to a whole new world of gaming. Why don't you focus on that instead of a fight stick? And then, of course, we just literally talked about the PC, and that's exactly not what it is. The PC is not a gaming PC. You're not even supposed to play it for extended periods of time. It's really just a basic PC for hobby stuff and simple games. So this person's completely mistaken. But thanks for the $1 tip anyway. Let's continue. I got a $1.30 tip from someone saying, just listen to this. Why did you buy all the upgraded stuff for Xbox to begin with, knowing it's the inferior console? It doesn't make any sense considering you have a PS5. You did this to yourself. You should have gotten everything on PS5 to begin with. I did not buy this joystick. This was gifted to me for Christmas a year and a half, well, almost 2 years ago now. That's why I got Street Fighter 6 on Xbox, because I already had a stick for it. So you're mistaken. I didn't buy this. This was gifted to me. That's why I bought it on there. And because the game was cross-platform, that's why I bought it on there. Now, I never predicted I was going to get good at the game at a competitive level, and you guys were going to want to see me play it so much and get master level and all. I had no clue. Keep in mind, this is the first game in over a decade that I've actually cared about this much and been this good at. I would argue this is the game I'm second best at. I would say Super Turbo I'm the best at. This game I'm second best at, and probably the next best game was Marvel vs. Capcom 1. And then after that, maybe MVC 2. And then maybe Third Strike. No, I'm serious. I'm good at Street Fighter 6, man. Like, I'm pretty good. I'm not high-end tournament level, but I'm pretty good at this game. You know? So, I didn't think that was going to happen. It was unpredictable. We didn't know. It could have went the other way, too. But I didn't buy this joystick, so you're wrong there. And as for everything else, I don't even know what you're talking about. What other upgrades did I get for Xbox exactly? I already had Game Pass Ultimate. So, that's 2 tips in a row that are completely wrong. But what's funny is this is a lot of the criticisms that get thrown my way all the time are just like this. Complete misunderstandings, ill-conceived notions, incorrect information. And then people say, you see, Phil, you're doing it all wrong because of this. Like, but you're completely wrong with what you're saying. Like, you're not even correct in what you're saying at all. You know? All right, continuing on. I received, let's see here. This is someone insulting me, so I'm just going to ignore it. Because as you know, I told you guys, I don't entertain troll insults anymore. I got a $5 tip from Super Snow Carl Turbo HD Remix. Alright, so oops. Super Snow Carl Turbo HD Remix. There we go. Wait, no, I screwed that up. Hold on. It's supposed to be tip. Put it in the wrong spot. Super Snow Carl Turbo HD Remix. It's a $5 tip. And he says, listen to this. Phil, I wouldn't retire your Xbox joystick so fast as at Evo with Maximilian Dude. Microsoft announced there's going to be further support for Killer Instinct with updated 4K graphics and all. Did you play that one back in the Xbone days? Yeah, but here's the thing. That game, when it came out, it was a launch title for Xbox One, and it looked great, and it played good. But the problem was the game had insanely bad issues at launch with desync. So you would go to play the game online, and by the way, the game had weird netcode. It did. And people at first thought it was one of the best games ever online until they found out that it would desync. So I'd be playing one game on my screen, the person on the other side of the internet would be playing and seeing a completely different outcome. Sometimes it would say you won and they won at the same time. Yeah, it was a complete mess. It was completely broken. And after playing it for like a month, I dropped it. I was like, dude, this game's not even worth playing anymore. And then after that, no one really cared. And by the way, the game floundered hugely because it was an Xbox One exclusive. They basically didn't have any real mainstream support. The game was dropped in competitive circles within like a year. And there was always a grassroots kind of, following for the game, people who did support it, but it never picked up. It really didn't. It never took off as a mainstream fighting game, ever. Now, there were DLCs over the years and everything, but it's funny you say this. Dude, the game is like a decade old, okay? The only people who care about that are hardcore KI fans. No one else. I'm not going to be picking up KI now. No, that's crazy. If a new Killer Instinct game was announced, brand new gameplay elements, new graphics, new release, I would play it. I'm not going back to a fighting game from 10 years ago that only people who have played this game over the past decade are really going to give a shit about. That's a waste of time. I'm not doing that. So shout out to Lionel, who just re-upped his membership for 5 months and says, your current playthrough of GTA 5 is better than your first. I believe you. Keep in mind, back in the day, when I played these games, I purposefully rushed through them. I was not considering plot points. I was not discussing things going on in the game with you guys. All right? It was basically me flubbing my way through the games, trying to beat them as fast as humanly possible to get that playthrough out on the internet for those views, because it really back then was a competition. Before there was crowdfunding, before there was any of this live streaming stuff, it was all about get the views on the video, make the money on the ad revenue. That was it. Okay. So yeah, I agree with you. I think that all of my playthroughs from today, especially when I go back and play a retro game, they're better. They're much better playthroughs, having that element of interactivity and chilling with you guys and us, adding through our discussion and everything that goes on, and you guys helping me. Hey, you missed this, go do this, like getting Packy and having him for the first heist. That was cool. I didn't even know that in the first GTA run, right? I had no clue. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think that these playthroughs are better second time around. I think this Chrono Trigger playthrough will be very special. I really feel that. Okay. Did I ever play Chrono Cross for PS? No, I didn't. Okay. I got a $2 tip. From Big Larry Gaming. I was thinking of picking up one of the classic Street Fighter 2 games. I'm wondering if the Genesis, Super Nintendo, or TurboGrafx version is best. If you don't know, that's fine. I think you have knowledge of fighting games. Do not get the Genesis version. The Genesis version of Street Fighter 2 is terrible, but there's two versions, and they're both garbage. The Genesis could not hold up graphically, nor with the sound. The sound effects and music are god-awful on the Genesis. Sorry about that. When it comes to Street Fighter. You will be very sad. SNES is good. I don't know about the TurboGrafx. I've never played Street Fighter on the TurboGrafx. Out of all the consoles that had Street Fighter 2, the best version is 3DO. The 3DO version has outstanding, almost arcade-perfect graphics and really good remix soundtrack. Super good. But I don't know if you can get a 3DO version of the game at this point. But the retro version, I would say if you had a choice between SNES and Genesis, always go SNES. Okay. Abdullah, I have no idea if I would try the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. If it is one of those asymmetric survival horror games, I don't know. There's so many of them, I'm not really too interested in them. Unbiased Fan says, did you see there's a blind man winning matches at EVO? He uses a gamepad and sound to play. I can no longer make excuses when I play the game. That's awesome. Someone had told me about that last night when I was playing it with Honda. I mean, that's amazing. Again, if anything, this proves games are now becoming more and more and more accessible. That is excellent to hear. I'm very happy about that, actually. Juan, I'm glad that tomorrow is the anniversary in Bogota. I hope you have a good day. JDTV, what's going on? Good to see you. Wade Mills says, dang, you need to stick soon. I'll help, though. would you think about doing online tourneys with your 2 best characters in Street Fighter 6? Again, I don't know anything about online tournaments in Street Fighter 6. From what I understand, they don't work. Every time they've tried to do them, they fail and glitch out, and then they end up rewarding everyone with kudos in the game because they don't work. So, I don't know. I don't know if they would work or not. You know, maybe I would consider it, maybe I wouldn't. Like I told you guys, if there's an online tournament, I would hope that it would coincide with my streaming schedule, but I don't know how they work. I don't know anything about that whatsoever. 1 second, because now I feel like I gotta blow my nose. I sneeze. Ugh. Okay. Ugh. Sorry about that. Oh, let's see. Did I play Half-Life? I did. You can find, I played Half-Life, what was it called? Black Mesa. I played that up until the end of it, but it wasn't finished at the time, and I never went back after that. And I did play a full playthrough of Half-Life 2 and its expansions. Why not use a converter for the Xbox Fight Stick? Already answered that on this very podcast. Converters, they're not perfect. They add tons of input lag. They're not even tournament approved because they have issues. I'm not using a converter because it would just make it harder. Imagine, oh, I can now use my Xbox joystick on PS5, but now all my moves are even more delayed online. That sounds like a great idea, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. It's very stupid. Lavinia says, the mini PC will 100% play modern games. It meets all spec requirements of Elden Ring. My full-size PC has a terabyte. That's not a small amount. It doesn't have a graphics card. What are you talking about? It has what's considered onboard graphics. They're very low-end. They're not good at all. In fact, someone did a comparison. My graphics card in my PC, no exaggeration, is like 4 times better than the graphics in that mini PC. It doesn't have a dedicated graphics card. It's the onboard graphics. How would I play Elden Ring on it? Yeah, maybe at ultra low settings, 10 frames per second maybe. And then it overloads and overheats within an hour maybe. Like, what are people getting these weird notions from? It's very odd. It's not tournament legal at EVO. There's only one converter allowed at EVO, and even that adds significant input lag, but people are doing it if they can't afford another joystick. Would you like me to reiterate everything I said on the podcast specifically for you? She takes them both out, boom, because you showed up late, and now you want to ask the same questions that I already completely answered sufficiently earlier in the show. In fact, how about this? We'll have a special show just for you. It's the Level 1 podcast just for the latecomer who wants to second guess and ask me questions I already answered earlier to try to make me like a gotcha moment on my podcast, all right? So here we go. We'll just start over completely. In fact, you know what? Here we go. Just for this person who showed up late and wants to ask the same questions I've already answered, we'll do this. You ready? Here we go. All right, we're not doing that. Let's continue. What else do you guys want to talk about today? Hopefully not joysticks. No, I've not ridden in a jet. Almost no one has. Lavinia. Oh my God, Lavinia. You're doing it too. Did I literally not do a segment explaining that mini PC has no ventilation whatsoever? There's no fan or cooling. So even though it might play a 3D game, it's not meant to do that because it will overheat. AMD processors are meant to overheat. They're not good. They're not like Intel processors with a cooling solution. This thing is going to overheat. Okay, hold on. Let's do it again. Here we go. This one is for Lavinia. Ready? Here we go, everyone. Welcome to the show. All right. Are we good now? Are we good now? Can we now move on to the things I already explained earlier? Will I eventually play Chrono Cross? I have no idea because I don't know anything about Chrono Cross. People have said that it's like it is a sequel to Chrono Trigger, but I never played it. I heard it was not good. I heard it was like nowhere near as good as Chrono Trigger, so that's why I always stayed away from it. Expand Dong, here's the thing. It's not that you can't come to my podcast and ask questions and you weren't here earlier. It's that you literally come to the podcast and your question is like, well, Phil, you're completely wrong on this topic because here's something that I know, but I've already addressed it earlier in the show. Right? We already had a segment about the joystick adapter and how it won't work. It adds input lag. You wouldn't want to do that for a competitive gameplay, especially when you're playing online where you already have input lag. You don't want any added input lag. We already talked about how that mini PC, although it may actually be able to play 3D games, is not meant to do that because it has no cooling solution. Therefore, it overheats. You'll probably play for an hour any 3D game. The whole thing will be fucking white hot and melt down and shut down. You don't want to do that. So we've already answered those. So why do I have to completely halt everything to answer your questions we already addressed earlier, right? Lavinia says it will not overheat like that. Okay, Lavinia, can I ask you a question? I'm going to ask you an honest question because Lavinia knows everything, okay? In a PC, okay, when you have a processor, okay, do you typically just tape it to the wall or do you have it in a cooling solution, such as a very large heatsink, cooling gel, okay, right? Usually has those things, correct? I'm correct. Am I correct in assuming that processors and PCs usually have cooling solutions on them to start, correct? We can all say that's a yes, right? I'm waiting for her to say yes, that's correct. Because I want to be sure that everything that I'm saying is correct. Processors have cooling solutions. That's correct, right? Okay? Lavinia, you didn't answer my question. You got to answer my question. Do processors have cooling solutions like nice heat sinks and cooling gel and all of that? Do they have it? Yes or no? Okay? Is it a yes or no answer? All right? Well, she's not answering. The answer is yes. Okay? Now, do modern PCs have a series of fans inside of them to also cool off? Because when you run that PC at high end, like a game, it gets hot. Does it have a cooling solution? Right? The answer is yes. All modern PCs that you're going to run any kind of a game on have these things because things get hot when you do things with them. Okay? It's that simple. That PC over there is not meant to be a high-end gaming PC. It's not designed that way. If it were, it wouldn't be tiny. They wouldn't have made it small. You understand? If you want a gaming PC, you don't get a mini PC. That's the whole point. Okay? Oh my goodness. That's right. It does not have a dedicated graphics card. It has what's called onboard graphics, and onboard graphics are not good. Onboard graphics essentially are bare minimum to run anything. So could I play Elden Ring on it? I bet I could get it to boot Elden Ring. All right. Probably with like no lighting. Probably with like low graphical settings. Probably running at like 25 frames per second. You know, I could probably get it to boot it. And it would probably be delayed, by the way. Probably lag up, have frame drops, be pretty much unplayable. But I could play Elden Ring on it. Oh, by the way, after 2 hours, the PC will be steaming fucking hot. Like, you can't even go near it. You probably put your hand in, like, ah! Anyway. It's just crazy, you know. Whatever. I don't even know what the point is, too. Like, what is the point of arguing with me on this? Who is asking me to use that mini PC to play high-end PC games? Right? We already talked about this, right? That we were going to basically look into possibly upgrading or buying a new PC. We even got all the specs last year. We talked about it. It just didn't work out. Like, I totally wanted to do that. And it didn't happen because there was so much other shit going wrong financially and everything. You know, everything, every little thing keeps happening. Every time I think I have a little bit of money saved up, oh, here we go. This breaks. This goes wrong. This is like, fuck. But that's life, you know? That's life. And you deal with it. So, I made do this year. Upgraded my capture device. Upgraded my lighting. Split the processing load between the GPU and the CPU for encoding for the on-demand videos, but also the streams. So now everything's improved this year, right? Even though I'm still using the same equipment, I'm optimizing the use of the equipment I have, and things are better. So I didn't have to go out and buy an expensive PC. I'm good, right? You know, it's piece by piece. Again, what we talked about last year, because I keep saying $3,000. If you remember last year, we had a list of components. In fact, I still have it over here. Here it is. We had a list of components that we talked about together over the course of podcasts. It was either an AMD Ryzen 7 5800X or an Intel i7 processor. For the GPU, the NVIDIA 3060 Ti or 3070. For the RAM, 16 or 32 gigabytes. For a capture card, an internal 4K capture card. The hard drive, a 1 terabyte SSD for your operating system. And then a 3 to 5 terabyte standard HD or HDD for storage. And then we talked about all other things like webcam. Don't need that anymore. I have a new webcam. You're going to have a cooling system. You got to have a very good PSU. We were talking about for the motherboard, maybe look at the Sony A series. All right. At least an 850 watt power supply. And they call them gold. And someone even said maybe the MSI B550 Tomahawk motherboard as well. Like there's different motherboards you could do. Actually, I think that Sony A series was the webcam that we were talking about. But I think we're good with the camera I have now is fine, right? So there you go. That's what we talked about a year ago. Now that's a year. Everything changes. If we were to sit down and talk components this year, I would almost guarantee you the price would be way less. Why? No one's doing that fucking mining for Bitcoin anymore, right? And that's what was driving up the prices of PC components. So likely we could get a similar thing, maybe even updated components for cheaper, which is good. I'm actually glad I didn't spend money on it last year because everyone said, man, you actually would have overspent last year if you bought a PC. So it actually makes sense that I held off and didn't do it, which is great. So maybe if we were to do an updated list of components that's similar to this, maybe it would be like $1,500. Great. Thing is, I'm not desperate for that right now. You know what I mean? Like, really, right now things are good. My capture quality's good. My camera's good. Everything's good right now. Now, I will want to do an upgrade in the next year to 2 years. For sure, I need to get a new PC at this point. But we're not there yet, okay? So, I received a $2 tip. That CPU is what is considered a low-powered chip. It does not create as much heat as a normal CPU. They can be passively cooled. It shouldn't overheat, but I don't know the kind of passive cooling it uses, so take this with a grain of salt. Yeah, I don't know. You saw how small that thing is. It's really small. And I remember I said it looked like it had speakers on the side. Then I realized those aren't speakers. That's just the ventilation is just holes in the side that looks like what you would normally have on a speaker on a freaking boombox or something, right? I was like, oh, that's what that is. Oh, okay. Can I read the full stats of the mini PC? No, they're not even on it. I'm serious. That box doesn't even have the full stats on it. I won't know till I hook it up and I turn it on and it actually tells me in the stats what's in there. I don't know. The box doesn't say. It just said the processor. That was it. Can I Google it? No, because I didn't buy it. I didn't buy the thing. It got mailed to my house. I don't even, it didn't even come with a proper thing on it to say exactly what it is. I don't even know what it cost. I have no idea. Like I said, tomorrow I'm hooking it up. And I'll turn it on. and I'll look into the state, system stats, and then I'll record that, and then we'll talk about it the next day. We'll talk about it Monday morning on the podcast. What I discover about this thing. Yeah, but I don't know the name of it. I've told you guys I'm reading it off the box. I don't even know what the name of the model is. So, like, take a look. Okay? Just look at this. It doesn't have a name. All right? On the back, it says the specifications. AMD Ryzen 7 5800H. Memory 32 gigs. Storage 1 terabyte. Network Wi-Fi 6. LAN 1000M. And then the input of the power adapter. That's it. That's all it says. Okay, so it says TriggerKey S Speed High Performance S Series Mini PC 5 generation sticker over here. What's the fucking name of it? Is it the S Speed? Is it the Speed S? Is it the S5? Is it the S5 Speed? Is it the Speed High Performance S Series Mini PC? Is it the TriggerKey 5 generation S Speed? Is it the S Speed TriggerKey 5 generation Mini PC? I don't know. You tell me. It doesn't even have documentation in it that says anything like that. There's 2 pages and all it says is what you plug in to turn it on. That's it. Like I said, basically, what you got to do is hook it up and see what the fuck's in it. I won't know till I actually hook it up. It's called the TriggerKey S Speed Mini PC. But then someone else says, no, it's the Speed 5. No, that's not it. Here, I'm going to open it. Ready? All right. User manual. This one says S5. Is it the S5? Is that what it's called? The S5? Even this doesn't have a name. There's no name. It literally doesn't have a name. Even in the book, there's no name. Look. Here it is again. TriggerKey, right? Discovery Technology Green Life. Okay, on the bottom it says Model S5. On the bottom it actually says Model S5 right there. Okay? There you go. So, it says that right there. That's all I know. Model S5. Okay? No, that's the actual model. I still don't know what this rubber thing is. Look, this rubber thing sticking out of it. It comes from the inside, but I don't know what the fuck that is. Look, it's like a rubber thing. It's coming out of the bottom. I don't know what it's supposed to do. Make it so that it stands up slightly on the front or something? So it doesn't sit flat? I don't know. It's weird. That rubber thing is very weird. Right? The TriggerKey S5 Mini PC. That's what it's called. See? And I said it looks like a speaker. But you know what that is? That's got to be the cooling. That's got to be how it actually cools itself, just by having openings on the sides like that. See? So there's no fan in there. There's no way there's a fan in this thing. Maybe there is. You think there's a fan in there? I don't think so. Really? People are saying it does have a fan? It does have an internal fan. Jeez. It'll be interesting to mess around with. So yeah, this is AMD Radeon graphics, but I don't know what. I don't know what the graphics are. It doesn't, I won't know till I boot it up. We'll find out tomorrow. Like I said, I'll record all this stuff for you. Anyway. Okay. Here we go. All right. my foot. All right. So, are we good? Anyway. All right. We'll see you tomorrow when I hook it up, and then we'll mess around with it. Like I said, a good test would be, you know, a retro game. But like I said, I actually have a series of games on the Steam I can try. It's really about hard drive space. There's only a terabyte hard drive in there, so depending on how much the OS is taking up, I could probably install a couple games and see how they run. They're probably gonna run like shit though, right? I don't know. I don't really have like crazy graphics intensive games. You know what I have on there? That horror game that starts with a V that I played a few years ago. I loved it. What was it called? Fuck, I can't remember the name of it now. You remember that one? That's on there. And Steam. Maybe I'll try that. No, not Bug Snacks. No, not Vampire. Oh, God. Forget it. Visage. Yes. Visage. I have Visage on Steam. We play Visage on there. See how it looks, right? I'm curious what other games are on there that I got on Steam, because I have older games. Doom 2 I have on Steam. Play that. We have various different things. Well, anyway, we'll mess around with it. Anyway, guys, the podcast has gone long. We're just dicking around now at this point, okay? All right. So thank you all for watching the show, all right? I can't wait to finish Final Fantasy and give you my final verdict. We'll have some chill fun in GTA today. Tomorrow, I'll probably give you my final thoughts on Final Fantasy on the podcast. And again, if there's any updates regarding the joystick situation, I'll let you know as well. We got a few more days to decide, all right? Thank you all. Great show today, regardless of the fact that I had to repeat myself 10 times. And thank you for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow. That's it. I have nothing else to say. Peace out.